Hello guys, welcome back to our blog CMS channel. And if you're following my channel from the beginning and you have not subscribed, please do me a favor by subscribing so you can get notified when I post any new content. And if you are new to the channel, please subscribe so you can get notified as well if I post any new content. So, and in this video I'll be showing you guys how to like a post. Like, let's continue reading this like icon. As you can see, we have 28 likes, but it's just a fixed number. We can't actually count our likes with just a fixed number of 28. So that is what we're going to be doing in this video. So let's get started. Let's go straight to our models, our model.py. In our model.py, we're going to add this. We're going to give this likes and call this model.many-to-many field, and this will be users. Many-to-many helps us to associate with different things. That's why we use many-to-many. It helps us to associate with different things. So now we're going to say related names. Related name, you can call this anything, but I want to call it let's say post likes. You can call this post likes. So why do we use related names? The many-to-many is just like the foreign key, associating many things to each other with the related names. So that's it. And now we've made a huge change in our model, so we need to migrate this change. So let's come down here and say Python manage.py, make migrations. Python manage.py, make migrations. So now we have made our migration, so we can now say Python manage.py migrate. Yeah, so that have been migrated, so we can run our server now. Python manage.py run server. And now this is all we need to do in our model. So let's go straight to our view. And in our view, I think I need to scroll down a little bit, and up to now we've been using class-based view, but I want to add a like for our post. So I think this time around I want to be switching to our function-based view. You can actually use class-based view for this, but I think function-based view is much straightforward for me, so I think I'll make use of function-based view. So let's get started by saying def and give this any name. So I'll call this like post. Let me say like post. And you know, in our function-based view we always have a request. And we always have a context dictionary. But this time around, I'll be using our context dictionary. So I'm just going to give this a variable name of posts, and I think we need to import some few things because I'm going to make use of it. So first of all, I want to come up here and import get object of 404. Why are we using get object of 404? Like, we're going to say get something. If not, then throw an error that has 404 error. I'm also going to import from the Django.http, import http, sorry, no request, import http response redirect. So we're going to make use of this. So I'll tell you what that does in a bit. So now I've imported our get object of 404, that's get something or throw an error of 404. So we're going to make use of that here. So now, what are we going to pass here? We're going to pass our post, and we're going to have an ID, which I think I'll pass an ID here of PK. So we're going to have an ID, and now we're going to say request dot post dot get. So what I'll get, I'm going to give this any name. You can call this anything. So I want to get likes_ID. Why are we saying this request.post.get. We're using that because this is a form that we are submitting, and we can grab something from the form by saying request.post.get, and then we save it. That's why we're using this request.post.get. So next up, we need to say post.likes.add. So I'm going to say request.user. So why are we saying post.likes.add request.user? We're saying it because we're getting each like from a particular user. We're getting each like from users because it has to be the users that can like a post, and it will get it by their ID of 1, 2, 3, and so on. So we're getting each post from each user. That's why we're saying request.user. So right now we need to return this somewhere, like as we always do. We always redirect it somewhere, and I think I'll be making use of our article page here. I want to when I click on this, like, it will redirect me back to the same page, but you won't notice that it redirected me back to the same page. So that's what I'm going to be using now. I think that is why I imported this the Django.http response redirect, because I want it to redirect me back to any page, but I want it to redirect me back to this article page without you knowing that it redirected me. To be so quick and easy. So now I'm going to say return HTTP response redirect. So where are we going to reverse it to? So let's come up here and import our reverse lazy. We already have reverse lazy, so let's just import our reverse, because we also need to reverse it. So I'm going to say reverse. So I'm going to say reverse. Where do you want to reverse it to? I think our article page URL is, we call this article page. So let me copy this, come down here and pass the article page. And you know our article page has an ID. Each article page has its own unique ID, so we need to pass in that unique ID as well. So we're going to wrap this up in a list, I think, and this is a string too. So let's wrap our PK in a string. So that's this PK, and I think so now we have our view. So we also need a URL. So in our URL, let's come down here and create a path. I think we're going to call this like_posts, and we're going to have a PK. As you can see, we have been making use of our primary key because each like is going to have an ID. That's how making use of the PK. So we're going to say, as usual, as we used to do it, that's PK, that's int the PK. So now, what was the name that we called our function? Like post. So let's say like post. So let's give this a URL name. So I'll call this like_posts. So now we have our view and we have our URL, so we need a template, but we are going to make use of our article template because this is where we're going to be liking, and I also want it to redirect back to this article. So now let's work on this, but first I think I'm going to wrap this up in a form because it's going to be a form. So let's do something like this. Since it's going to be in a form, so our form is going to have a method of posts, and what's going to be our action? Our action is definitely our URL. So what's our URL? I think our URL for this like is like posts. This is our URL. So let's pass that here, and we're going to pass our post.pk. So now we're going to create a button. So our button is going to be submit. It's going to be a type of submit, and it's going to have a name. this name, we're going to get this name from here. This name that I'll give it here, post.get. So we're going to pass in this name, and we're going to have a value. So what's going to be our value? Our value is going to be post.id. Okay, so here I think I want to have an icon here. I'm going to have an icon here, so I think here I'll have a class of solid. These fonts awesome actually do of solid far part. So let's call this text danger. I'm using text danger, so if we have, why am I using text danger? So it will be red, like a love sign, red. So let's get rid of this, and I think this is all we need. So let's go back and see what we have. Let's refresh. Okay, we have a red love icon here, so let me try to like it. Oh, sorry about that. I'm so sorry. I forgot our CSRF_token. I forgot every form must have a CSRF_token, so I forgot about that. So sorry. CSRF_token. So let's get back here and refresh. So I've refreshed. Let me like again, but I'm actually hitting on the like, but we don't know if I've actually liked this post or not. That's why we need to add numbers to know how many likes I will just click. So how can we do that? So let's come straight to our model.py. Down here, let's create a function. Let's call this let's call it total likes. So we're going to return self.likes.count. I want to be able to count how many likes that we have. Self.likes.count. So we can count how many likes that we have. So this is all we need. So let's go back to our view.py, and I think we're going to be displaying this in our article. So let's come up here in our article, because we don't have a context dictionary, because I've been using class-based view, so we have to like get a context dictionary here. But we need to get a context. So I think we're going to be doing that in our article, because that's why we're displaying it in our article.html. So down here, let's create a function and call this get_context data, but I need to pass this self argument. I need to pass an argument before the keyword argument. So here we're going to call this context. So I'm going to call this context and passing super in our super and call our article, which is the article that we have here, article/self. So we're going to have .get context data. So now we're going to pass our argument and keyword argument inside here. Argument/keyword argument. So here we're going to give this a variable name of anything. I don't know, I can't think of any names, so I think I'll name this some. It could be anything, you can name this anything, it's just a variable name. So I'm going to say get update of 404, meaning get something. If you don't get anything, throw an error of 404. So inside I'm going to have our posts. So we're going to have our posts. I'm going to pass in an ID, because every likes we have an ID of PK. That's ID of 1, 2, 3. So every like is going to have an ID. So I'm going to say self the keyword argument. I'm going to wrap this up in a list and pass our PK here. So now we need to give another variable name of total underscore likes. So we're going to say sum this sum dot the total likes. So our total likes. So now we're going to say context wrap this up in a list and pass our total likes, these total likes here. So I can just easily copy this. I'm going to pass our total likes here. This is equals to total likes. So we're going to return our context now. So return context, and this is actually all that we need here. So let's go back and now display how many likes that we have. So let's come to our article.html, and here let's go to 2 likes here, total underscore likes. Okay, so let's go back and see how many likes that we have already. Let's refresh. Okay, post object has no attribute like. I'm sorry, let me fix this real quick. Just give me a minute. Okay, likes. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. It's likes that we're using. There's S here, so it's likes. Sorry about that. So let's go back and refresh. And voila, it's working. As you can see, we have just 1 like here. Okay, and by Alvin. So let's try to log in as Mike and give this a like. So now I logged in as Mike. Let's go to continue reading. Let's like, and it's working. That's all we need. So we need to be able to unlike this, because as you can see, we can't unlike it. I can only like it. I only have 2 likes now. So we need to be able to unlike this. So let's do that real quick. So now, how do we unlike a post? So now in our like here, so now as you can see, we can only like a post, but I want to be able to unlike that post. So what are we going to do here? We're going to give this a variable name and say liked. Let's call this liked, and we're going to say equals to false. Liked equals to false. I'm not going to say if post dot likes dot filter. So what are we going to filter by? We're going to filter by ID. That will be request dot user dot ID. I'm going to now say dot exist. Actually, what we are saying here is if a user that is logged in, a user with this ID that is logged in, has liked this post, like if it exists, like if a logged in user like Mike is logged in and Mike had liked this post, and that means that's I use if it exists. Then if it exists, then do something. What are we going to do if that like exists? We're going to say post dot, why am I writing like this? Post dot likes dot remove, meaning if it exists, if this user have liked this before, then remove it. So I'm going to say request dot the user that liked it. That means remove it from there. If this logged in user have liked this, remove it. So we're not going to pass in else. If you haven't liked it at all, then like the post. So this is just basically it. So here we're going to now pass in liked equals to false. Then now say liked equals to true. So this is basically how we're going to do it. If a logged in user had liked this post, then remove it, unlike it. So as I just wrote this false and true so you can see it, else then like it. So we just pass this in our like, but we also need to pass this in our context. That's in the article.html, this context that we just created, this get context data. We also need to pass this here. So how are we going to pass it here? We're going to say, I want to come down and say liked equals to false. So we're going to come and say if sum, that's this sum here, if sum dot likes dot filter, but I'll try doing the same thing that I did before, filter by ID, and I'm going to say equals to self dot request dot user dot ID, like what we did initially here. Like if the person if self dot user dot ID, like the ID of the person that is logged in, the ID of the person that is logged in exists, like the person logged in have liked this already. That's exactly what we're doing here again. So let's say dot exist. If it exists, if the person logged in have liked this already, then do something like, and I'm gonna say equals to true. So now we need to pass this liked into a context dictionary here. So let's create the context and pass it down here. So now we have passed this. So let's go and pass it in our article.html, which is here, article.html. So here now we're going to do something different. So I need to copy it, but first, so here we're going to say if liked, meaning if it's liked already. I need to copy this and say else. And let me end my if here. I'm coming real quick so I can explain this. What's happening here? We're saying if liked, meaning if it's liked, then display that it's liked. That's when you have the danger. Then if it's not liked, you can say text here, which should be primary. I mean, it will be blue. If it's liked, let's see the red. If it's not liked, let's see the blue, meaning it's not liked. Or you can maybe leave it on gray or blank, anything you choose. So let's say it looks like. Let's refresh. Query set object not to exist. Give me a minute. Query set object not to exist. Okay, sorry. It exists with the S. Let's come down here. Oh, the same thing. Exists with the S. Okay, let's go back and refresh. Okay, so let's try to unlike. So who is logged in? Mike is logged in. As you can see, if he likes, 2 likes is red, unlike is blue. Maybe you can change the color to gray or anything. If you like is red, unlike is blue, like is red, unlike is blue. So that's it. Let me like it back actually though. Now we have 2 likes, but we still have one more thing to do. An anonymous user doesn't have an ID. Let's try to log out. As you know, an anonymous user doesn't have an ID, so we don't know. So we're going to have an error because this is an anonymous user. He doesn't have an ID, so we can't keep track of an anonymous user. So how can we avoid this error? Like, how can we prevent an anonymous user from liking a post because he doesn't have an ID? We can't track who liked it. So this is what we're gonna do. Let's get back here in our article or HTML. So let's give it back this restriction saying if user dot underscore authenticated, if user dot is authenticated. So let's copy that and paste it here, and let's end our if right here. That's sorry, and if I think I'll tab this over a little bit. Yes, so if user dot is authenticated, you can like and unlike, but if not, let me go else. If it's not authenticated, I want to just show a love icon that has been liked, and this is what I just need. So let me tap this in a little bit. Okay, so if you are authenticated, you can like and unlike. If not, I just want to just show this icon, and that's all. Let's refresh. Voila, and this is what I want. So let's try to log in as Alvin or anybody or Mike. Let's give our password. Voila, this is all we need. So anonymous user can't like this post because we can't track who he or she is. Only logged in users that have ID of 1, 2, 3 can like a post, so we can track them by their ID. I think this is all we have for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.